I'm recording this video to show you how to minimize, but probably not completely omit the editing process, but at least how to keep it to a minimum so as to produce video content in a pretty quick manner, but also to keep the professionalism. So I wanted to shoot this video on my phone, which is, I'm pointing at it right now, to show you the setup that I have here in OBS in conjunction with my laptop. So I've got my microphone here that's plugged in to the side of my computer via USB, and it's entered as an input here in OBS. I also have my webcam engaged, and it's shooting me right now. And then over here, I have another external webcam that's hooked up into my laptop, again, via another USB port. In addition to that, I also have content on my desktop. So the idea is that I would have one audio source and then really kind of three sources of video. The first being the content on my desktop, the second being my webcam, and the third being my external webcam. So I'm going to shift over here to OBS now and do a screen recording so that you can see exactly now what's happening on the screen inside of OBS as I'm trying to put together a faux presentation to minimize the need to edit. So here we go. We're going to start OBS. Okay, so here I am in OBS, and I am in studio mode. And that just means that I have a preview panel and a program panel. And to kind of liven things and quicken things up here, I've already created my scene here, which I've called 2Cam with PowerPoint. And then in that scene, I've already added my three sources. Now, if you need to go back and review about how to create scenes and how to add sources to a scene, by all means do that. That's in one of our OBS videos. But here, we can see in the preview panel and in the program panel right now, I'm looking at recording whatever's on my desktop. And this is kind of a weird kind of window in a window in a window in a window in a window view. And that's just, if you only have one monitor, and right now I'm only operating off of my laptop, that's what you're going to see. Now, if we had another monitor and then we could put OBS on one and put the desktop or the presentation that you want to present digitally on the other monitor, you would avoid this, and so we would only see the presentation. I only have one monitor right now, so you're seeing this kind of wacky window and window view. The other thing that I have connected here and ready to go is my webcam, and to see what that looks like, I'm just going to move it to the top. And here's my webcam, and that's the integrated webcam that is in my HP. And then the other cam that I have, that is my external 4K cam. I'm going to move it to the top. Come on, get up there. There we go. Nope, still didn't. How about if I move that to the bottom? There we go. Here's my IC cam, and that's over to my left, kind of on the left side of the desk. That's kind of getting me in profile and a little bit of the picture that's up here. So that's that. Now, just to show you as well, I have a PowerPoint presentation up. There it is. And we're just going to assume that that's the presentation that I want to give. And so probably that's what I'm going to do with an opening slide. This could be a series of slides as well. Maybe you're opening, you're closing. But right now I'm just going to try to do a video presentation, again, to minimize the amount of editing that I would have to do. But I wanted to show you the content that I have up in OBS and the sources that I've input. So I'm going to go back to my webcam now. All right, so let's just take you through a little bit of kind of what's happening. So right now, the desktop is being presented. Now, if I wanted to change that, I would want the scene, or I guess the source that I want to change to, up over here in my preview panel. And so right now I'm broadcasting my desktop, and in a second I'm going to press this transition button, and you're going to just see now that I transition over to my webcam. So I click that, and now I what the viewer is actually seeing now is my webcam. Now, if I want to transition over further from that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my I'll put my camera over here up to the top, right? And so right now we're on my HP webcam, but now I'm going to transition over, and I've transitioned over to my IC cam. And that transition is kind of nice and smooth, if you'll notice. I'm going to transition back over to my webcam. And just put it up on top. There we go. And then quick transition over. And you can do a number of different types and timings of transition. Now, I've just done kind of a fade out to black and then fade back in. That's real quick. But that's built into OBS. So that's nothing that I've added in, Camtasia or any of the other editors that we've been using in this course. So that's a quick way to actually transition from source to source to source, minimizing the amount of editing that you would have to do. So let's see what happens when I actually try to go through a presentation. And so what I want to do is I'm going to move, and this is all going to be in the preview panel right now, right? So I'm going to move my desktop up to the top. Okay. And trust me, right? Trust me that when we go to this view here, right now you're seeing the presentation about your instructor, and I know when I kind of zap over here, you're seeing this mirror kind of image again, and it's a lot easier if you're working with two monitors. So that would be a quick tip. If you've got two monitors, use two monitors with OBS is a lot easier, because then you can you don't have to fly blind, right? Which you do if you only have one monitor. Anyways, the other thing that I want to pull up is I want to pull up my webcam as a source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these other two and just go to my webcam, right? So that's the only thing that I'm seeing now. And I'm going to minimize it. There we go. And it's, fairly typical to have your webcam kind of appear in the lower right-hand corner. You can put it anywhere you want, but that's a customary place to put it. Another good place to put it is over here. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me grab it. Right in the center. As sometimes you may be actually presenting something and some set of controls or toolbar extends into that lower right-hand corner of your screen, and then if your webcam is in front of that, then viewers can't see it, and then you get a ton of questions about like, what did you click? What was that? Anyways, so I think I'm just going to leave it here then, for if that's okay with you. Now, so my webcam then is going to be, when we actually do the program, my webcam is going to be the small little space here that we see. And now I'm going to make my desktop visible again, and I will make my webcam visible again. Okay. Now the other thing that we have to do is that we have to make sure that the order of these things is correct, and the layering of these things is correct. And so what I can do is I can come over here and I can click, and then sorry, that's a two-finger tap to pull up this really in-depth menu here. And I'm just going to order to make sure that the desktop is kind of at the bottom layer and that my webcam, the internal one, is at the top layer. And right now I'm not going to really mess with the layering of my external webcam, but I just want, so I'm going to move this desktop, highlight it, and I'm going to move it to the bottom. Okay. And then right now I'm going to make my IC external webcam disappear. And so now what we see is we're going to have a webcam inset here, and then the content, this digital content, which is my PowerPoint presentation, that's going to be underneath. And again, if we want to double check that, we can tap over onto our webcam, make sure that that's highlighted in red. We can pull up the menu and we can order, and we can just make sure that that webcam view is moved to the top. Okay. So if you don't get that right, sometimes like your inset view won't appear in the final rendering of the video, and you're thinking like, well, what happened? I messed up the layers. I didn't make sure that the webcam inset was on the top. What we're going to do is we are going to go then to we're going to transition in to my content here. Okay, and it's at this point that you probably have to do just a smidgen of cutting here. And now I'm going to begin my presentation. So this is about your instructor, which in this case is me. And I'm going to go like, here's a little bit about me. And this picture was taken a long time ago, obviously. And then this is what the CBU bio says. And then this is what I know that you don't. Okay, and then we're at an end on that. Okay, and so that presentation could be as long or short as you want it to. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, let's transition to IC, this webcam. Let me pull it to the top. Okay, and then we're just going to transition over. Okay, and so now I'm on my IC cam. Now clearly you still would have had to do a little bit of cutting, right? So that awkward kind of messing around just a little bit, you know, where I was trying to move the IC up in the rank and was messing about a little bit, you know, that's maybe 2 or 3 up to 5 seconds that you'll have to cut. And if you get really good, you won't record any audio during that particular point in time. And so that when you go to edit it, you'll look at the waveform and it becomes very, very obvious what needs to be cut out. And so you can cut to where you know, the end of your audio and your video content, all the way up until the beginning of that transition. You can catch that nice smooth transition from camera to camera. And that's not anything that you would have to put in your editor. So it's kind of 1 or 2 less steps that you can incorporate into OBS that I think in the grand scheme of things is going to reduce the amount of editing and the amount of time that you spend you know, in an editor making your videos look quality. Now let me just pause here for a second, because let's just say, for example, now that I'm kind of closing up and I'm finishing, that I want to now fade back into a closing slide or an outro. And let's just again, I would probably stop talking now. I would make sure that my slide is pulled up. All right, and we're going to go back to presentation mode. Let's just view that. Oh, sorry. No, come on. Presentation. Let's go. Oh, here we are. Sorry. Okay. So imagine that this is my outro slide. I'm going to go pop back into OBS, right? And I'm going to then pull up my desktop to make sure that it's on top. And again, I know that you see this mirror on mirror on mirror on mirror on mirror, right? But what we're going to do now is I'm going to transition over and then make sure that I have that. Again, if you had two monitors, then that's going to be a smooth transition that you don't have to manage in an editor. Like right now, that's really awkward because I've only got one monitor. But again, with a couple of monitors, you can really dramatically reduce the amount of editing that you're doing. So I'm going to pop back into my webcam now. Okay. So there we go. You know, you're kind of seeing the two cams that here. And again, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's not going to completely eliminate your need to do editing and post-production, but there are some clever setups in OBS that can minimize your need for post-production editing. And again, if you have two monitors, again, you can't quite eliminate it, but you can get pretty darn close and include lovely transitions from sort of scene to scene, or in OBS's case, from source to source, just within OBS, and capture all of that if you have a couple of monitors. And then really all you're having to do in post-production and editing is just cut little slices out and export. So I think if you get into OBS and you play around a little bit with different scenes and different sources, you're probably going to hopefully and quickly find a workflow that is most efficient for you. Thanks for watching.